Greetings, YouTube. Someone has asked me a series of questions dealing with my personal spiritual beliefs. And because I really hate to type, I'm not very good at it, I pretty much touch type with two fingers, one in each hand. I'm going to be doing a video response to their questions. So, on to their questions. One second. Move this bar out of my way. How did you come to your religious belief? And I've covered this to some extent in another video, but he wants to know specifically, how did I come to originally find my goddess and eventually my god Ptah? And one of the reasons I was able to achieve what I did is that I had a very firm foundation in knowledge of gods from a number of different pantheons. I'd been studying them since I was, I don't know, 14 or 15, as an offshoot of reading fantasy mostly. And that led me to the study of gods, theology, philosophy, things like that. Buddhism and Taoism, things along those lines. So when I began to cast about looking for a deity that was well suited to me, I just think that my general knowledge of the gods helped me find one that met my requirements, that synchronized with what I was seeking. Because I firmly believe that we seek the gods and the gods seek us. It's a mutual relationship. It's very much a mentor-student kind of a situation. My goddess has never revealed her name to me. I don't really feel any issue with that. She chooses to someday, she will. I've always considered her to be kind of a Norse figure with a little Native American thrown in. I see her as kind of the absolute iconic archetype of what, to me, the feminine is. She is the maiden, the mother, the crone, the warrior, the provider, of food, of protection, and the taker of life in the form of gathering the harvest and slaying animals and gathering the souls of the fallen. I'm very much along the lines of Kali in that regard. And Ptah, for me, is the masculine aspect, the cognition, the scientific thinking, the reasoning, the craftsmanship. And he is, between these two gods are my yin and my yang. They're the balance to each other. Okay, second question. How did you come to your god specifically? And again, because I had a background in understanding these gods, I had studied many different pantheons, including the Norse and the Native American and the Egyptian, and Hindu and a number of others, Chinese, Japanese, to a lesser extent some of the New World, South American gods. That is what led me to find a connection with these gods. At least that's how I view it. And he asked a question about my wife's religious beliefs. My wife has decided she would like to respond to that herself, though she's a bit of an absurdist, so I'm not really sure how she's going to go about doing that. I believe she's going to do a video response, and I will put it here with this video if she ever gets around to doing it. But there is no conflict between her view of the divine and my view of the divine, which I think is one of the points the person was asking, was there a conflict of any kind? Righty. Another question. Why would a perfect entity allow certain things to happen, since by definition he, she, it knows all possible outcomes ahead of time and has the power to change them? Well, I don't believe in omniscient and omnipotent gods. As I said, I see the gods as icons, as archetypes, as things that we aspire to be or aspire to want to be associated with. For the people who do, in fact, believe in omniscient and omnipotent gods, I believe the standard definite reasoning behind this is why gods let bad things happen, is that free will, is that we have free will, and because we have free will, we choose to do things, and sometimes those things are bad. And why things that aren't a matter of choice still happen, you'd have to ask a theologian of faith that has a single God. I would suggest a rabbi, imam, or priest, or pastor of some variety, because it's not my view of the world, so I don't have an answer for that, really, and I apologize. Okay, the big one? Why would any particular god even bother creating life? Since, again, by definition, they do not need or want anything, and therefore have no incentive to create. Why does a parent want a child? It's that simple for me. If you believe in a creator, there's your answer. God didn't want to be alone. Now me, I don't believe in a creator. I never have. I, again, see the gods as archetypes and icons. So, for me, this isn't a question. For others, that's an answer that really resonates with me, at least. That no god wants to be by themselves. So they made us. 3. What in more detail of your view of the afterlife and punishment, reward, morality, sins, etc.? Well, I don't base my morality on faith. I use this. The Moral Rules by Bernard Gert. It is the book that has helped really sum up in much better ways than I can ever say what my moral belief system is. He's done almost all the legwork for me. Why reinvent the wheel, so to speak? I do believe in an afterlife. I believe that at the moment of death, we achieve a level of clarity, of pure and unaltered honesty with ourselves. And those of us who feel that we've done what we wanted to do and we did a good job, because I think that most people are decent and good people, we move on to the Summerlands. And those that question what they did, they go back for another try. And if someone wants to go back just because they enjoyed it, sort of a spiritual tourism, if you will, they would go back as well. I realize that this is an unconventional view of the situation because I don't believe in a heaven and hell dichotomy. I don't believe that someone gets punished. There is no judgment except the judgment that we make of ourselves. And person then talks about what to do when confronted with an agnostic or an atheist and essentially defending your position as a theist. I don't have to defend my position as a theist. There is no dichotomy between reason and faith. You can have both in your life. If someone's getting in my face and says, "There is no God," well, I just ignore them. I used to be an atheist. And being an atheist for me was the idea that you would intentionally blind yourself to the very facets of reality and then complain that you couldn't see anything. I just stopped blinding myself. I opened myself to the divine, and the divine opened itself to me. I don't go to atheists for advice about the divine. That's kind of like going to a celibate virgin for advice about sex. It's something that they don't want to be involved with, they have no experience with, so they're not really going to be able to give me any advice. And the hardcore atheists seem to be the opinion that you shouldn't have sex either, even though it's a whole lot of fun, and even though being connected with the divine has been really helpful and a joyous experience for me. It hasn't shut off my brain, folks. It doesn't mean I don't have reason. It just means that I don't close my eyes and pretend things aren't there. I don't stick my head in the sand and say, no, 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 I can't see it. It's there. It's always there. And every one of us, in our own way, is a God. We are all divine. We just have to wake up to that fact. But we forget. I forget. I remember again. And I forget again. It's an endless cycle. But each time, I remember a little bit longer before I forget. So, don't defend yourself to anybody. Excuse me. Be who you are. Believe what you want. Harm no one else. Walk your own path. And if someone doesn't like it, ignore them.